Today we're talking about the pros and cons of living in Wake Forest. If you're thinking about moving to Wake Forest, this will be a great video for you. And we're getting at it up next. Hey, I'm Will Wofford, real estate broker with Berkshire Hathaway in Raleigh, North Carolina. And today I'm going to tell you about the things I think you'll probably like about Wake Forest, North Carolina, and some of the things you're probably not going to like. First, let me mention Wake Forest is a suburb of Raleigh, similar to Cary, Morrisville, Apex, Holly Springs, and Knightdale, and so on. But Wake Forest is located to the north of Raleigh and borders Falls Lake. So Wake Forest to me feels more like a suburb or an extension of Raleigh. It does have a nostalgic but small downtown area that butts up to what was once Wake Forest University up until around 1956, when the school moved to Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary bought the property. So for some people, that small town charm will be the first positive. But for others, it's probably going to be the first negative. And if you're someone that wants to be close to the nightlife, well, Wake Forest probably isn't for you, because it's a 30-minute drive to downtown Raleigh. Now, I'm going to tell you, Wake Forest is a super popular town with a family-oriented vibe, and the local population has grown from around 12,500 in 2000 to just under 50,000 today. And it has most of the amenities you'd expect to find in a much larger city, and all the retail staples you'd probably need, like Target, Walmart, Kohl's, Lowe's, Home Depot, etc., with a good selection of independent and franchise restaurants, as well as a good selection of popular grocery stores like Wegmans, Harris Teeter, Lowe's Foods, Publix, and Food Line. And Wake Forest does have a Starbucks. So there's a really good chance you'll be able to find what you want in town. But if you can't, you're only about a 10-minute drive to North Raleigh, where you'll find the Triangle Town Center, which is one of the largest indoor malls, shopping centers in Raleigh. So I'll tell you, nothing's really ever out of reach in Wake Forest. Now, the second pro is the location on a long-term basis. As I mentioned, Wake Forest is to the northeast of Raleigh and is convenient to the 540 outer loop. So if you're going to the RDU Airport, the RTP Durham, or Chapel Hill, well, the 540 is going to be one of the best ways to get there. And you can access the 540 via Capitol Boulevard or by Falls of Noose Road. And the north side of the 540 is not a toll road like it is on the Apex Holly Springs side. I kind of think that's a real plus. Also, you can take Highway 98 to Durham, Chapel Hill, or the RTP, but it is only a 2-lane road, so that road is going to get backed up during rush hour. But looking out, the North Carolina DOT has plans to turn that 10-mile section between Capitol Boulevard and the 540 into an 8-lane express freeway, which brings me to my second con, which is a really big one, and that's the traffic. So right now, if you live in Wake Forest, I'd say there's a really, really good chance you don't work in Wake Forest. And instead, you probably commute to Raleigh, the RTP, or somewhere else for work. And right now, traffic is an absolute disaster coming in and out of Raleigh during rush hour. Now, if you can get to the 540, you're good. But it's getting to the 540 that's the problem. And while homes in Wake Forest aren't cheap, I believe the prices would likely be much higher if the rush hour traffic problem was fixed. As it currently stands, the drive from Wake Forest to downtown Raleigh, the RDU Airport, or the RTP is about 30 minutes outside of rush hour, but could be 45 minutes to an hour or longer if traffic's bad. The third positive, or pro, if you have kids, are the schools in Wake Forest. There are a lot of really good public school options like Heritage and Wakefield, with quite a few charter school options available as well, including Franklin Academy, Endeavor Charter School, and Vision Science Academy, and Wake Forest Charter Academy, which, by the way, are some of the highest ranked charter schools in all of Wake County. There are also some excellent private schools, including Ravenscroft and North Raleigh Christian Academy, that aren't too far away. So I know Schools are a big deal if you have kids, and Wake Forest really does have some good schools to choose from. Now, the fourth pro with Wake Forest is that you have a ton of green space, including lots of greenway trails like Neuse River Trail, and that's a 33-mile trail that follows the Neuse River, and lots of great parks with easy access to Falls Lake. So Wake Forest is a great place to exercise or relax with the family. But there are some negatives to living in Wake Forest, and because it's a smaller sized town, you won't really find many large employers here. So as I mentioned, you'll most likely have to commute to work, which is the third con. And here's a pro and a con. If you're looking for a new construction home, you can find lots of them here, with more on the way, which is the fifth pro. And I'll tell you, Raleigh's pretty much built out, with the exception of some land that lies really between the 540 and Falls Lake. So Wake Forest is where you'll have to go if you want a new home and you want to be on the north side of Raleigh. Now on the flip side, Wake Forest is going to be one of the more expensive Raleigh suburbs. And a lot of these new developments aren't very close to the amenities I mentioned earlier. In fact, some aren't even in the city limits. So you'll only have to pay county tax if they're outside the city limits. But in general, Wake Forest has one of the higher tax rates in Wake County, which is the fourth con. Now, if you're moving to Wake Forest from out of state, this area might actually look cheap to you compared to what you're used to. But I'll tell you, as of April 2022, the median price for a home in Wake Forest was $529,500. That's up $126,000 in the year ago period. That's a 31% increase. So that's kind of a lot. But when you consider Wake Forest's proximity to Raleigh and the fact that Wake Forest is only a 2.5 to 3 hour drive to the beach and a 3 to 4 hour drive to the mountains, it's probably not all that bad. And on top of that, Wake Forest is a super clean town, and it's also known to be one of the safer places to live, which is certainly a positive. Which brings me to the fifth and final con of moving to Wake Forest. And this last one really applies to Raleigh and eastern North Carolina in general. And that's the fact that it's hot and humid in the summer, and we have lots of pollen in the spring. So Wake Forest, like Raleigh, is a super lush environment with lots of trees and plants, and each year, between March and April, when the plants and trees bloom, the pollen's brutal. So if you have bad allergies, this is a negative aspect of life in the Raleigh area that you may want to consider. And when you combine the pollen with the high humidity, for some people, it can be a little hard to breathe. Well, there you have it. The good and the bad aspects of living in Wake Forest. If you have any questions about the area or would like some help finding a home, please give me a call at the number below. And if you like the video, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to learn more about the Raleigh area and where to live, and I'll see you on the next one.